two like Beastie Boy looking guys from Encino Man. They're sitting there sharing headphones when Sean Astin falls on his ass. They stop and look like while wearing headphones. Like, motherfuckers, you guys are wearing headphones at the same time.
Yeah, you're sharing music.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but Skype must just think some weird things of us. For the ads, they're like, is this ad relevant? It's like, are you looking for, older men in Rio de Janeiro? It's like, what the fuck? Like, well, old man podcast. I didn't say young boy podcast.
Then we start sending us ads from Namblin.
no, they're just
sending you guys ads for Oompa Loompas.
Well, because it's like, are you looking for men ages 40 to 59?
That have orange skin.
Rule 34, that shit.
That only eat chocolate.
Yeah,
there's got to be some dark website or some 4chan group somewhere for that.
If it doesn't exist, then it's your job to create it. Rule 34.
Oh, fuck that. No, someone else can create it. I said it. Someone else can do it.
But, welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And special guest...
And I'm Marley Silverbrand.
Oh,
we always mess it up, I swear.
We got it right that one time, but it's been at least a year since you've been on, so...
It's been a year?
I guess you had a brief cameo on our Avengers 2 podcast, and then...
last podcast.
Where you called and you fucked it up!
Yeah.
I'm joking. No, it was fine. The episode was already fucked.
Yeah. It's because you guys started the podcast. It's fucked as soon as you start the podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I'm just kidding.
We'll just turn it on. I just look at Spencer. Let's get this over with.
Fuck, we got an hour and a half to kill of shit that we don't give a flying fuck about.
I gotta talk to this fuck right here.
Yeah. So how you been, Spence?
I've been doing pretty good. Not too bad. Just been chugging away on our latest animation now. Mm-hmm. It's in the pre-stages. The fun pre-stages where we're all getting it dialed in and getting the characters and whatnot, and then once it goes from there, then the long time of animating will come up, but that's a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How was your Kings thing? That was the last
I'm actually working for Sat Kings Nation for the audience that doesn't know. It's a fan site that covers the Sacramento Kings, and I produce their video content, and I also do my normal video content stuff, and now I'm living in Sacramento too, so.
Well, it makes sense to be next to the Kings. It's not like, well, I'm living in Philadelphia, but I'm working for the Kings fan site.
We actually have several freelancers that work for the site that live in Oregon, but they also they write for us too, so it's a little bit odd. But it's funny when we actually sent one of the guys to the Portland Trailblazers game when the Kings were playing them, and he got a press pass because he was like, yeah, I write for this website, and people thought it was legit because we have multiple people throughout the United States. It's like, oh, this website must be legit, even though it's just a fan site. But yeah, hopefully they don't listen.
Fan sites can lead to good things.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just doing that right now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, can't beat doing a fan site there.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
Almost about a year and a half. So,
year and a half. And was this and you're trying to promote something for an upcoming Kings documentary, right? That's what you're doing?
Oh no, I'm not really doing that anymore. It's just mainly just doing promo videos and just working on my editing skills and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just.
Have you ever considered just once walking into work with a Lakers jersey just to see what would happen?
No, I'd probably get shot on site. Sacramento is pretty chill. Is a pretty chill city, but you don't really bring up that team. You don't bring up the Warriors, Golden State Warriors that are in the Bay Area, and you don't bring up the Lakers.
What about? I wonder what happens.
As long as you don't bring up those two teams, you should be good.
It's kind of like someone wearing a Broncos shirt going down Oakland.
Yeah. Is that the rival?
There was a small time period when I lived in San Francisco where I worked at the Golden State Warriors arena, selling fucking vacations. But it sounds cooler with oh yeah, I was working at the Golden State arena. Oh yeah, what were you doing?
Selling vacations.
Yeah.
For a white guy with long hair, it's difficult. You got to either be that very like shyster looking guy who's got almost like a semi pompadour. He's like, hey, here, you want to go on vacation? Come on, you know, I mean, you guys got the money, right? He flips his collar up, you know, he just kind of like puts the arm around the back, be like, let me tell you all about it.
Or no. I remember like the collar popped up. You like slide in, kind of like Clint Eastwood and like Outlaw Josie Wales. He goes on screen, just like, hey, like there's like this slither noise as you slide in.
Oh,
well,
man.
like,
have you thought about a timeshare in Maui?
There was 2 other guys that worked there that these were probably the coolest guys, but they sort of could kind of get away with it. There was like this one black guy, and he was like the super salesman. He's like, he worked in Vegas and did all kind. He sold everything known to mankind. But he could do the black thing where like he'd go up to like rich white people and go like, he's like, I'm black and I can afford this thing. So what do you got? You mean you got to be able to afford it, right? I mean, come on, look at you guys.
Say that?
You guys look.
That's
I almost feel like it was pretty close to it because a rich white person would be like, well, yes, sir. It looks like this black fellow can afford it. I think we can, honey. And then there was another guy who was really cool. He was this Asian guy, but his gimmick was that he kind of just talked in like broken English. So he'd be like, oh, come on now. You know, I mean, like, I go there on vacation, so, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, it's affordable for everybody. And then it's the same.
You're the one white guy.
Honey, it seems that this, you know, little Chinaman, he seems to be able to do this. What's saying that a good old American can't do it too?
Be like, hey, I'm a good old American. Fuck off.
Fuck off, you fucking rocker. I don't want to see your goddamn band at all. I was like, I'm trying to sell you. I don't want to see your goddamn band. Get your fucking ticket sales out of here.
I guess you didn't.
I don't want to see your wannabe Metallica wannabe fucking shit. This guy gets all aggressive over it. No, hey, little Chinaman guy, get over here. Tell me more about this.
I like this guy. He's funny. Yeah.
He's funny. He's got a broken accent. Just like the stories my grandpa used to tell me about the war. But that's what I learned about sales, is that you had to have a gimmick. Everybody's got to have a gimmick. I guess I sort of had a gimmick, just the wrong gimmick. Really, the only people that would listen to me was like older black ladies. Why, I'm not too sure, but that was the closest I ever got to selling anything. I was literally the guy that the only paycheck I got was just like the regular like minimum wage or whatever, San Francisco minimum wage check. I don't think I ever got like a sales check like on top of it.
We got to check our like analytics for the podcast. Do we just have like, you know, it's like 50% of our like listeners just
sassy
like
black women,
sassy black ladies, yeah. Like, I love me some of that Spencer Scott Holmes.
I love me some of that Old Man Orange.
And that's when I learned that really it's like when it comes to sales, I think there's some people that if you're a great liar, pretty much, you can work in sales because that's what it's all about. It's about lying, unless you're selling something you truly believe in. You know what I mean?
It's like that SpongeBob episode where he's a salesman and he's like, Barnacle Chips are delicious.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I've seen a few because I watch it with my nephew once in a while, but I don't remember that one. I know there's the one where like Black Sabbath is on. No, it's Metallica. No, it's Pantera. Pantera's like did all the music for it.
It's one of the older episodes where...
Yeah, there's an episode of Pantera.
It has to be at least one of the like season 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Pantera did all the music for an episode or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually.
But that episode I was talking about is a rather older episode where SpongeBob just looks up at a sign, and is like, Barnacle Chips are delicious, and he's like, they most certainly aren't delicious.
Oh.
Like, how do they get away with that?
I don't know if I could, because every once in a while your boss will tell you like to really almost kind of go against your like, I mean, I won't say which job and when, but there was one particular job I had where a boss was telling me, go in front of this business and try and like stop people from going in. I'm like, no.
This is America? I don't think I can do that.
They like just like advertise, you know, try and canvas in front of that business over there. They're our rivals. Like, yeah, we try and get as much money as we can, but no, I can't really. There is some like form of like common courtesy you got to hold up to, you know.
I would totally say yes to that and just walk up to people and just be like, dude, you don't want to go into the store. That boss, he totally raped a guy last week, so you should
just make up horrible stories.
He just totally raped a guy.
Wow, we got a
they sell drugs to minors in there. You don't want to rent from them.
Yeah. It's like 15 minutes into the show, I already got a rape joke, so.
Oh, we ain't even 15 minutes yet.
No, we're like 11.
No, but get very technical for those listeners.
I looked at the Skype thing. It tells me all.
We gotta be technical with our rape joke. So it's just 7 minutes only.
Well, there they go. I'm at the 11-minute part. I'm at the 11-minute mark. I ain't going back now.
Yeah.
10 minutes maybe.
11-minute mark. That's when we just bring in the anal, gay, butt sex jokes, and so.
Well, we're in the right city for it.
Yeah.
Happens. Well, sort of like after last episode, which was only like yesterday, where we talked about Evil Dead, and then we started talking about some other horror movies. I went and saw the Goosebumps movie in theaters.
Was that good?
I actually thought it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Really?
I hear that Jack Black is actually really good in it. And,
he's really scary and creepy in that one.
Is he playing R.L. Stein?
Yeah, and then R.L. Stein's in it, and he's playing
Stein?
Jack Black.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like a quick scene, but no, like overall, that film I thought was really enjoyable because it was one of those ones I didn't know what to kind of. It was like it was either going to be a movie that's going to be really good, or you're going to go in there and go, that was okay. That was made for a different audience. That wasn't made for like the '90s kids. This one actually felt like it was made for the 90s kids, yet somebody of nowadays who was, 12 years old could really enjoy it too.
Was it kind of like, were they, as someone who like probably watched the show and read the books, were there moments like, oh, look, there's the dummy, or was there actually kind of like some moments that stood out? Like,
copious amount of those moments. I mean, like, the more that you read those books and that you watched the TV show, it all came together in that. I mean, they used all sorts of things. And the dummy was kind of like the main villain. He was the guy like controlling all the books and like releasing all the monsters on the city. And
he was the most popular.
And the thing about that movie though is that movie's like it's so borderline that like this thing could go instantly rated R just from like what's going on in the film. It just pulls back enough to be like, safe for kids. But there's a part where like they got all like the gnomes and like I think it's Jack Black that's tied up and they're literally pulling him towards like an oven. Like it's like lit up and everything like that. And you just kind of think about it, it's just like right there. That could be like the one where it's just like, oh god, somebody just gets sucked into an oven and burnt alive, and you just watch it, and the kids are like, oh fuck, your dad just got lit on fire.
Yeah.
But of course, they always get out of it and stuff too. But it has like the thing about it is the comedy's really good in it. Strangely enough, like that never takes away from it. They still got a lot of kind of scares, and the horror is still good. Tame enough that a kid could watch it. Even though if you took like a 6-year-old, he might have slight nightmares of dummies and little gnomes and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Was there? Did they have the camera? Did they have the camera that makes things like come true if you take a picture and because that seems like a hard one to shoe in there.
Yeah, they didn't do that one. They didn't do the mask. They didn't. I mean, how many books are there? About 100 of them or so.
The mask one, that one's so dark. The mask one would be so dark because you have to give the whole backstory. I think this one it makes sense just to use the monsters that run around rather than the Twilight Zone shit where you have to build up to it and explain it.
No, yeah, literally this one is pretty much all monster stuff. None of the Twilight Zone-y-ish ones. But I mean, you see some of the things in the trailer, like the Abominable Snowman. They got the werewolf and the praying mantis, which was one of my favorite books of all of them. But no,
that one was like the one where they go on the trip. They go on like the roller coaster thing, and it ends up, oh, it's all real. But then they're all robots at the end. Like the kids themselves are robots.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, because a lot of times they always had like a Twilight Zone-y ending to them. Because really, when you think about R.L. Stein, what he sort of did is it's more like a really genius idea. It's not like he totally invented a whole lot of stuff. He more just like watched a copious amount of horror movies and stuff, and then kind of put his own little twist on it. And then market it to children. Because, a lot of the stories are sort of, it's like, okay, well, that's kind of like the werewolf. But let's put this different, change on it. Or the Abominable Snowman. But instead, he's in Pasadena. They would always kind of get somewhere like that. Like, well, it's like, I've seen this story before. But now it's just told sort of differently. And I always thought, like, before they made that Goosebumps movie, I was like, that would be the thing. It's like, if you wanted to make a horror movie, that's all you really had to do was just go pull out some random ass Goosebumps movie, put your own, or a book, and put your own twist on it, and you could just instantly make copious amounts of these different movies.
I remember, like, I heard something. I mean, you hear these kind of rumors all the time, but apparently that a lot of the Goosebumps type stuff was actually something where he almost kind of, it was more like he had like a writing farm, and he would he would basically put his name on it, but he kind of oversee. He had a bunch of people writing for him. That's stuff you hear about. I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, there are short books. You probably could crank those out really quickly.
I was just about to say, I'm like, because I think they're only like, maybe 100 pages each. or so. So you could probably write like 5 of them a year, if not more. Hell, if you think about the 007 books, they were all written in 10-year span. So I could see how you could write these Goosebumps books like in, because when do you think they kind of came out? I can't really remember. Like early
Like
90s to about,
let's say 95 to like 99 maybe.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, there's probably about a 5-year period or so. Maybe it might came like 93, and they just didn't get popular till 95 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is one of those ones. There's a lot of material there. You could make a lot of these sequels to these Goosebumps ones too, and you could kind of go into different places. This one works as a great standalone movie, but you could see how if you went on, you could start diving into some of this, the other kind of stuff.
I've always kind of thought, like, if you were going to do a movie around Goosebumps, like, to use all the monsters. I'm not sure if you guys have seen ABCs of Death or ABCs of Death 2, but it's a bunch of it's a bunch of short films using every single letter of the alphabet. I think that would be kind of an interesting way to use like all the monsters. Like maybe like have like a bunch of independent like filmmakers just kind of assign them like a character and then put it all into one movie. So I think that would be really interesting.
Like an Animatrix style thing?
Yeah.
So exactly. Goosebumps Anthology kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah,
that would, like the Twilight Zone movie, or like what's that George A. Romero one? Creepshow.
Creepshow, yeah.
Like that would be a perfect way to go about it.
No, I haven't seen it.
I've never seen it, but to me that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's kind of Twilight Zone the movie or something like that. That would actually be the perfect way to go. I don't know why I didn't think of it like that, but just do 5 stories in one film, because they're all short anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I highly recommend ABCs of Death. It's on Netflix right now. So.
And is it a TV show or a movie?
It's a movie, and they get like 25 filmmakers, and they all get a.
So what, 1 letter's missing?
Yeah, 1 letter, and they make a movie. Short film.
And I know the guys that did Hobo with a Shotgun. I know they have one on there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. They have one on there, and then I think a few people from VHS. It's another horror anthology. They have like a short film on there too.
Now, did the guys from Hobo with a Shotgun ever make another movie after that?
I think that's their only feature-length movie. They've done like shorts, but I think Hobo the Shotgun's their only feature-length movie.
Yeah. I just kind of been wondering, because it's been 3 years since that movie came out, if not a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was a really good one. That was one. I mean, I was expecting it to be good, but it was like even better than I assumed it would be.
I know. Well, you know what? I actually went back, and I don't think I've watched this in a long time, but I watched Grindhouse again in like the last couple days, and that's sort of that's the start of bringing those films back. And Hobo with a Shotgun and Machete 2 kind of feel about like the end of that run, of that period where people were making all these Grindhouse films and going back to 70s and 80s style. And what I think I like about Hobo with a Shotgun is where a lot of them always capitalized off the 70s Grindhouse style. Hobo with a Shotgun went for more like an 80s premise.
It was trying to almost go with more of a. It was almost trying to go for more of like a, like Tromaville kind of thing.
Yeah, like Tromaville mixed with sort of John Carpenter.
There's definitely some Carpenter in there.
Yeah, just because the soundtrack and everything.
Isn't there a sequel to Machete coming out, like Machete in Space, or was that?
I hope there is. I don't, because I just don't know how well that movie did.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He did. That guy had a bunch of. He's had a couple of shorts after Hobo with a Shotgun. He had ABCs of Death, VH2, and he's going to be on one called One Last Drive, and that's a short.
Huh. Well, I wouldn't mind checking those out just to see that guy, if anything, because
I loved Hobo with the Shotgun.
Yeah, that was.
I'm surprised he didn't get more like work after that. I mean, he's still getting work, obviously, but I'm surprised he didn't get like another feature-length movie after that. At least some
the thing about that movie is the people that it did really well for being a small movie, and the people that see it, like, that's a highly praised one. Whenever I talk to somebody who saw it, they're like, "Oh, dude, that movie is fucking awesome." So it's not like it was a pandered movie or anything. I think if you show it to somebody like, "Hey, you want to see a movie?" Like, well, I like, simple, basic, not too complicated. So, Hobo with a Shotgun, watch this. And that throws off some regular people. But, if you're really into films and especially horror, you love the hell out of that film.
I think, since he dies at the end, but who knows, he could survive or something. Mm-hmm. I think you could almost do like Hobo with a Shotgun 2, or even just do a movie about the plague. The two mercenaries for like the 2 guys from Hell, or mercenaries for the mayor. Like, I think that right there alone, like I want to see that guy do something else feature length,
Exactly. I just know it'll be really cool. I'm kind of surprised that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez didn't like kind of help that guy out some more. It's like, well, we slapped your trailer up on Grindhouse in Canada. What more do you want? Fucking grateful bastard.
Yeah.
You know, because their names, you'd think their names would be on it, like Hope of a Shotgun, presented by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, but
Maybe they just really hate Canadians.
It's like, well, God, he won the goddamn fucking contest, so I guess we got to show it. Fucking Canadians, the bad part of America.
I could see that being, even though they probably both enjoy that. I bet they both probably like that movie. I bet it could be seeing something kind of like it was just Canadian. It's probably just a special deal with Canadian distribution because we didn't have it. If the three of us knew there was a contest back in 2006 to get your short on Grindhouse, we would have been probably cranking that thing out more than that Red Hot Chili Peppers music video.
Exactly, but I don't think they had that in the U.S.
So we probably have it for the U.S. I'm saying though, if they did have that for the U.S., we definitely would have been on that.
Yeah,
not definitely. Been on it. Not saying we would have won. We definitely would have gone for it. Not saying we would have so been on it. No, probably wouldn't have. But we definitely would have tried.
No, exactly. Well, I kind of think about that movie Grindhouse, like that really was like a humongous thing for me. I think about I'm like I got the special edition hardcover book. It's got posters and T-shirts and a lot of stuff for it. Like I think that movie influenced me like more than at least a lot of modern ones, because all the other movies I think that influenced me are all at least like 20, 30 years old. But when that came out, it was just like, I think it's just cool seeing, taking that style of old films that weren't really the greatest, but maybe had great concepts in it, and then just actually having two fantastic directors make it, and then kind of throw a bit of like, well, the film's going to look all messed up, or we're going to have kind of weird cuts and things like that you wouldn't normally, nobody would put in a regular movie, but just because that's just the charm of those old films.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I could think of like when I first saw like Planet Terror and Death Proof. I that did push me in this direction. I want to go watch and look up a bunch of like, because once that movie came out, there's a bunch of other like companies that started just throwing out these big collection of like C and D list movies and just being like, oh, it's fucking Grindhouse, and grabbing everyone you could find, and then like these big packs, and then you're like, oh well, like 2 of them were good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with those kind of movies. You gotta almost like watch about 5 of them to find one good one, and
yeah,
that's kind of how it was. You'll when you find the good ones, you're like, oh, this actually is really creative and really well made, and then you kind of gotta sit through some of the other ones, and you go, this is kind of there's a reason why this is kind of junk.
For a period, like nearly everything I was planning on making, it had like have like a 70s exploitation, over the top kind of vibe to it, with like old, like John Carpenter music or something like that, to that effect.
Yeah, but it is just an interesting one, and Planet Terror is like really the prime gem of that section. It's just you can't beat that one. Death Proof is still one of those ones where it's still my least favorite Quentin Tarantino one.
Same here.
It's one of those movies. There's about 20 minutes of just fantastic scenes in it, and then the rest is just okay. It's not bad, but it's one of those ones like when I first saw it in the theaters, it almost felt like you get in that kind of experience, because I saw it like day one, and just everybody was sort of into it there, and you got the whole audience with you and everything like that. That made it kind of fun. When you kind of go back and watch it over and over, like the car scenes are amazing in it. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies, it'd be a lot cooler if there was just, if one, it just didn't have the double buildup in it. I think that kind of kills it in itself. And it's just, throw some more action in there. But I want to say those, like, the reason I think when I watched them in the theaters it was a little bit better is those movies were trimmed down. Where when you get them on DVD, I think that Death Proof's 2 hours long or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I want to say, I didn't see them in theaters, but like the theatrical cut of both those movies with the whole slew of things, it's like an hour and 10 minutes each, where like I think they have just like there's a lot of extra. Maybe it's not as noticeable in Planet Terror, but it's definitely noticeable in Death Proof. Even though I like that movie and I own that movie, it definitely is, I think, the weaker of the two.
Yeah, because I want to say Death Proof.
Over the years, I've actually watched Death Proof a lot more, and I remember, and each time I watch it, I feel like I like it more and more, just because I'm starting to realize that Tarantino kind of has he goes through. I don't mean this in a negative way. Like I like Tarantino, but he kind of always has to have a moment where he's just stroking his film dick, and it's just kind of just. You know what I mean? He's just kinda, he's just showing his love of movies and stuff like that. And Death Proof is just kind of it's intensified by like 100 times. And I kind of like that in a way. It just shows like his film knowledge. Like when I watch it like over and over, I kind of forget about the story and just kind of like appreciate like his film knowledge. So yeah.
Because Death Proof, even though the action scenes are really good, and even though I still enjoy that movie, it kind of is like like you said, there is that period in every movie where he stops and talks about one or two obscure random movies in detail. Like even in Inglourious Bastards, they talk about some obscure German movie and talk about, if you look at this shot up, that's my brother, and that in that close up, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing.
And sometimes it's not even movies; it's like film techniques, like how to shoot a scene and stuff like that. Like this is how the average film student does it, but this is how I do it.
Yeah, like like you said, there is that point where he just pulls out his film school dick and just goes. Yeah,
well, it's not even like a film school dick. It's just more like his knowledge.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes
too is like
I said the FD word. You hate the FS word. You hate the FS word. My bad.
It's one of those ones too. Sometimes when you listen to Quentin Tarantino, I almost feel like when he's writing stuff, he almost writes it like he's writing something. Like it's not written the way somebody would talk. It's written the way that somebody would quote. It's almost like he's writing lines like, "This would be great on a T-shirt," or "This would look great on a bumper sticker." You know, you could just picture seeing. Like on a bumper sticker in back car with a picture of Jules there, and just goes, "That's a tasty beverage." like the law, because nobody would say it like that, but it's almost like a perfect thing that somebody would quote. And Death Proof is filled with a lot of those lines, whether they're like they're memorable or not, but they're almost written like each one could be quoted. It's not written like talking; it's written like quotes. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, like Inglourious Bastards, because usually if you have a Tarantino movie coming out, you're going to have all the movie posters. And, like, there's the character posters. So there'll be a picture of, like, Django with a badass line, King Schultz with a badass line, Leonardo DiCaprio with an evil line. And then, they have that with nearly any movie of his that came out. They did, like, a movie poster of like a series of character posters. When the Inglourious Bastards ones came out, because every once in a while he'll, like, try and come up with a cool line, but maybe they just picked the wrong one. The Inglourious Bastards one, they all like, okay, you had Brad Pitt, like, I'm killing Nazis, and like, my business is killing Nazis. His business is good. Like, all right, that's cool. And then like, you get the other ones though. There's the one that for like the Christoph Waltz character, which is like, people are ashamed of their title. I love my title. It's just like, oh, that's the quote? Okay. And then like for the Jewish girl that owned the cinema, her like quote on the movie on her character poster was, "'Cause we're gonna make a movie just for the Nazis." Just like, okay. I mean, you need some context,
Yeah, it's like, okay, because if you didn't know anything about Quentin Tarantino or something, you look at that like, oh, so we're watching a movie made for Nazis? Okay, sure.
I'm actually really excited for his new movie.
I can't wait. I'm always excited for anything Tarantino, but
yeah.
It looks like this one looks like it's almost going to be. I mean, we don't know if the movie comes out, but it looks more like it's going to be like a. And I'm not saying this just because it's the popular thing to say, but it's almost to be kind of like the Western version of Reservoir Dogs, because it's 8 people all crowded in like one place. Because Reservoir Dogs, with the exception of a few scenes, that almost looks like it could be a play because it's in the same spot. It's all driven by dialogue. Yeah. This movie,
I believe it's actually been a play once before. Like they've actually done stage productions of Reservoir Dogs.
Like, I can see that.
Yeah, not like legit Broadway ones, but people have written plays for Reservoir Dogs.
He's a cop. No, he's fucking not. He's a cop. No, he's fucking not. I'm hungry. Let's get a taco.
With me.
But yeah,
you're not gonna die.
Say the fucking words. I'm gonna die. Say the goddamn fucking words.
This needs to happen. This needs to happen right now.
Somebody's gonna
Broadway.
Broadway's already probably got that in their back pocket. If
they have the Spider-Man musical, then that Quentin Tarantino Reservoir Dogs is next along the line.
Oh, if they made a fucking I don't understand it. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I have not seen. I own it. I got it at the pawn shop. I have not. I want to watch it because it's two of my favorite actors, one of my favorite directors. I have not seen Catch Me If You Can. I'm gonna watch it eventually.
Oh my god, that is amazing film.
People tell me it's amazing. Yeah. I just haven't got around to watching it yet, but I'm gonna watch that movie. Mm-hmm. I do not understand how. I mean, maybe if I see the movie, I can maybe see it, but I just like there is a Catch Me If You Can Broadway musical. I don't understand how you could see that. I mean, because it's just like a detective, like con man movie. That's what it is, right? So
yeah, it literally. When you say that, I couldn't tell you how there's a Broadway. I mean, I guess you can throw songs into anything if you shoehorn it in, but that does not feel like it's made to be a musical.
And like the whole Reservoir Dogs thing.
I think that's what makes it interesting, though, when you don't really see a movie being a Broadway musical.
Like
that
Evil
makes
Dead?
you want to see it even more. Yeah.
Well, Evil Dead,
I want to see it even more.
I could see the Evil Dead one in a sense of just being kind of like ironic,
like
kind of
Little Shop of Horrors.
It's so dark, it's so fucked up. Though we're gonna treat it lightly, and then we're gonna try and mix it in with all this really dark subject matter. So I can kind of see how that pans out, but. To me, I haven't seen it, and everyone talks about how good it is, but Catch Me If You Can sounds like it takes itself fairly seriously. It's not like it's not Schindler's List.
It's based on a true story.
It's not like Schindler's List, but it is like but it is
Schindler's List, the musical.
Yeah, I could have gave the car, I could have gave the watch.
So fucked up. Oh man.
Just have what's the Nazi guy, like the main kind of guy who just sits up there with the sniper tower getting his chest
that's Ralph that's Ray Fiennes, but I don't remember the character, but yeah.
This guy's just up there singing a song with getting my chest saved, shooting a Jew in the back. It's like horrible songs.
Wow. But
if they make one Steven Spielberg movie into a musical, they can make them all. So
Jaws musical.
I'm waiting for Lincoln.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
But yeah, going back to Tarantino, I'm really excited for his new movie. Perhaps more than Star Wars Episode 7, just because that's his Quentin Tarantino's new movie is coming out a week before that, right? It's kind of right around the same time.
It is Christmas.
It's so hidden. It's kind of like it's been like announced for like the last 2 years that it's kind of coming out, and they've thrown a couple little trailers out, but really, if you ask somebody on the street, I don't think they would even be like, what? There's a new Tarantino movie coming out? It's like, yeah. It's like, don't you know? It's like, no, I don't, because I haven't seen any trailers in a long time. I sort of heard about this maybe a couple years ago. I'm not too sure. Like, it's weird. He's getting like almost no press. Everything's being like overshadowed by big movies like Batman v Superman, Star Wars, and even 007, even though that one's kind of, I mean, that comes out like in like a week and a half, and it's sort of,
I haven't seen a lot for
December
Spectre.
25th.
It's actually on Christmas?
Yeah, it's on Christmas. Hateful
just
Eight.
like Django, I guess.
He likes either, I noticed he likes either
couple weeks after Star Wars. So.
I mean, I guess these are the three big movie seasons, but generally I noticed Tarantino either really likes Christmas releases, or he likes late summer or October.
That's when people go to the movies.
Makes
they
sense.
They go to the movies right around Christmas and Thanksgiving, and then.
Well, Star Wars is doing the smart thing where they're putting it pretty much like at the beginning of Christmas break for kids. Like, it's not on Christmas, because that can sometimes be the very end of Christmas break for kids. They're putting it at the beginning, so it gives literally 2 weeks that you know that kids can go see the movie multiple times. You know, because adults can go see it whenever, but for kids, that could be about it. You know, they might have the weekends and all, but unless they got good parents that will take them any day or take them out of school to go see it.
Priorities.
And I think the movie going up against Star Wars that weekend is probably like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So there's nothing really available for kids except for Star Wars. So it's kind of a perfect weekend for Star Wars.
I saw that trailer for Alvin
every
and the
weekend
Chipmunks last night.
Wait, there's a new one? Is this already on 4 or 5 by this point?
Yeah, it was literally, I saw a trailer and all I could think was, you know, because Jason Lee's in it, I was all, I can't wait to see Mallrats 2. But it was weird because it was Alvin. It was like they were singing that what the heck's that guy's name? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank on it.
Dave.
He's a musician. He's kind of like
Drake.
Who?
Drake.
Just saying random ass names. No, he kind of reminds me
Drake's
of
a
also like
rapper.
the.
Drake's a famous
He's
rapper.
a Canadian rapper.
He's not a rapper. He's he's sort of like a rock musician guy. He kind of reminds me of like the new Prince, sort of.
Robin Thicke. He's not as good as
the new Prince.
Not new Prince, but you say he's a white guy. He's Canadian. Is that you said?
No, he's black.
Oh, he's black. Oh, Kanye West or
no?
Oh, Bruno Mars.
Omi?
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, Bruno Mars. There we go.
Okay.
I don't
Somebody with
think
talent,
Kanye,
not fucking Kanye West.
It's kind of I kind of
Someone
see
with
more
talent,
Michael Jackson rip off before he changed skin pigmentation.
Well, see, he reminds me of Prince because he plays guitar and stuff too. So.
Okay.
Bruno, I'm gonna give like.
Michael Jackson played guitar, right? Didn't he? I thought
if he did, he never played it on, like in a music video on stage. I mean, he probably did. I mean, think about it. You live in a house filled with musical instruments.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, Michael, don't get near those instruments. You sing, damn it.
The belt's coming off.
Don't fucking touch that bass.
He just like moonwalks out of the room. Okay, Papa. Just moonwalks right out.
Like he's chasing around his belt. Like, get off here, Michael. You know I can't catch you when you moonwalk.
Woo! It's like sliding, like it's like a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner kind of thing. He's just like, oh, I'll get you. He's like chasing
all like running, sliding around the house.
Just like just avoid him. Oh yeah, come on. And like they have like the Scooby-Doo hallway of doors, just like going back and forth.
Like bam, 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 bam.
Benny Hill.
Yeah. But, okay, that Alvin the Chipmunks, when he's singing that Bruno Mars song or whatever, so it's Alvin the... I mean, like, you kind of expect that. That's sort of what the Chipmunks are all about, is they're a bunch of musical rodents that sing pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it is that point.
That's not what I would ask for, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, because here's the thing. You watch, like, the older album... Well, I guess Alvin Chipmunks goes really far back, but you watch, like, the 90s ones, like, some of those movies are still pretty good and hold up. I mean, there is a little bit of like it's kind of hard to defend the singing sometimes as you get older because it's just like okay, here's just 3 high-pitched rodents singing, whatever,
It's
weird
just
pop
like an
songs
up-res version. It's just a better version of Kids Bop when it gets down to it.
Exactly, literally, it's the more legitimate version of Kids Bop.
Brian, did you just say a better version of Kids Bop?
Yeah, I fucking did.
What kind of universe am I living in?
A better version. Not saying it's good. It's better though.
When I was a kid, like I thought Kids Bop was like the lamest thing ever. Like when I saw those commercials come on TV, it's like, "Come on, guys, Kids Bop. We'll sing songs, but take out the swear words, right?" And I was just like, "That's fucking gay." At like 8 years old, you're just like, "No, I
always hated it when I was a kid. Yeah.
Plus, it's the '90s, so you just said gay. Like it didn't mean gay. It just meant it's stupid.
Gay didn't mean anything back then. It was just
it was just you just. It just meant it was another word for lame.
It didn't mean two men or 2 women kissing and just fucking later.
Go on, keep battling, keep backpedaling. It's gonna mess up your gears.
Yeah.
In the '90s, we could do a lot of things. It was a time of freedom.
Yeah.
America.
But yeah, no. So they got it. There's a trailer for like Chipmunks 4 Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a Christmas movie. All it was Alvin was like he was singing the stage, like he jumps up on stage and he's singing that song. He's like, "Don't believe me, just watch." But like, and "Don't believe me, just watch." Like that over and over again.
Oh my God, really?
And then he started like going out to the audience and stuff. He's like, "Say Alvin." And they're like, "Alvin, say Alvin." Alvin, you're just kind of sitting there like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, I used to watch this as a kid. Holy fuck, what happened to it?" And then all of a sudden, Jason Lee walks up. He's like, "Alvin!" And everyone's like, "Dude, you fucked that up." he's like, "Yeah, these are my chipmunks. I own them. Get the fuck out of my way."
I want to see that one where it's like these chipmunks are fighting for the right. Like, I own these. These are mine. Like, we're fighting. Like, let's have like the humans' rights.
They came from my sperm. Like, what? What'd you do? I fucked a chipmunk when I was younger. Don't question it.
Just like
was
the
into
dark
the whole interspecies thing.
I just kind of want like a sequel to Mallrats with Jason Lee, and we just find out that these Alvin and the Chipmunks movies is just his horrible like acid trip.
Crossover.
Yeah. See if Mallrats and they're both
Mallrats starts
the
off.
Mallrats and Alvin and the Chipmunks,
and all of a sudden he wakes up. He's like, "Oh God, I was just in a movie with a bunch of chipmunks."
Give Kevin Smith enough pot and tell him that's a good idea. Like, fuck it, why not?
Except for Jason Lee.
Well, he
like,
did.
He probably don't do that. That's a great
cost.
paycheck right there. I don't. You know what I mean?
He did Tusk, so we should just write into the podcast and get him to do the movie. He's
probably
just
gets that on.
crowdsourcing all of his movies now. So.
Well, first Tusk took place in a separate movie universe, but then his Moose Jaws is actually gonna cement that like his Canadian horror trilogy is also in the same Jane Silent Bob universe because Jane Silent Bob are gonna be in Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
The only thing though is I hope he doesn't kill off because he was saying something about like killing off Silent Bob and that. I'm like,
did he?
Yeah, it was on one of the podcasts. He was all like, he's like, I'm gonna kill off one of the characters. He's like, and I asked Jay, I'm like, hey Jay, he's like, who do you think should go, me or you? I mean, like, because they're playing the Quint character and whatnot, so they just kind of assumed that like they're gonna go down with the shark or the moose. And Jay was like, he's like, no man, you fucking go. I don't want to lose my gig. Like, I still got movies to make.
Wow.
And so
I don't think he will.
No, I think it'll be like one of those ones where like you think that like maybe Silent Bob will be like eaten, and then in the movie he appears somehow. He swims back to shore or something. I don't know why I keep saying
he
shore.
cuts his way out of it or something like that.
He comes back through the
Kind of like
tundra.
Sharknado.
I keep thinking it's like they're actually in Jaws, but it's fucking Moose Jaws. That'd be kind of scary though. You're out in the water and just this moose is like swimming, with just its head sticking up barely, just dun. Just arms. You can barely see the legs, just kind of keeping it going. Just see the antlers poking out.
It's the image he said, like when it first, like, because that was another idea. Some of the podcasts, like, fuck it, let's make that. He's talking about just like a pair of antlers going over tall grass, like dun 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 dun.
Well, I like it because like he always
it's a Canadian's
Jaws,
worst nightmare.
They would never let him make Jaws, so he found a way to do it.
Well, we're talking
about
surprise.
The Canadian version of Jaws. It's just the moose antlers.
Makes sense.
Universal at this point would say like, hey, you know what? Make another Jaws movie. Why not? Come on.
Yeah.
We gotta combat this guy who's ripping us off.
We need about 16 more Jaws movies because Back to the Future. So it's Jaws 19.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had that kind of neat trailer where they kind of like, at least Universal did that. That was kind of cool. It'd be cool if they literally came out and just made a Jaws 19. Like, didn't even make any of the ones in between.
Yeah.
Just went straight to Jaws 19.
They released. I didn't watch. They released the trailer, kind of like for like Jaws, like.
Well, if you kind of look at it, we've had a lot of Jaws-like movies where we had Piranha. That's kind of
and there's
kind of the same concept. So if you count up all the movies that are like Jaws,
you probably have about 19 of them.
Yeah.
Well, then you got things kind of. These are sort of similar. There's like Lake Placid and Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, I love Deep Blue Sea.
I've been looking for that movie.
Theme song.
Like, I haven't seen that one in a long time. Both that one and Lake Placid, like both.
What was
really
the theme
good
song? LL Cool J, like motherfucking sharks! Look out! There's a fucking shark! You know,
the Deep Blue Sea.
I remember the theme song for like SWAT was like some kind of Limp Bizkit sounding song, and I remember the main chorus was. Yeah, all right. Here comes the action. Samuel L. Jackson.
We got a copyright strike on that one. So.
Oh, fucking Warner Brothers Music comes after us for that.
I love when like somebody goes like, okay, write a theme to this movie and we'll put it in the credits, and then they like really write in like what's going on in the movie. They don't just like write some random ass song that has nothing to do with it. They try to fit in stuff. It's like the Grandma's Boy movie has like that weird song at the end that's trying to sing about the entire movie. Grandma's Boy. Grandma's Boy.
Living like a child. Grandma's Boy.
It's like you can't help but
featuring
laugh.
Randy Newman.
It's like a bad song, but if they took that out of there, I'd be like, no, you gotta leave that in there. That's just so fucking dumb. It works perfectly.
When I was younger, I got the Tiny soundtrack because I was in love with that movie when it first came out.
Fucking shit.
It is a good flick, but I had the soundtrack.
That one.
And there's the part where they're flying through the nebula and they're playing that "It's My Time to Fly" that like rock electronica song. And if you listen, like they only play parts of the song in the movie. Or if you got the soundtrack, that is one of those songs where it's almost kind of like, it's my time to fly, last of the human race got destroyed, we're trying to find a new planet, trying to like stack all this shit into this one song. Like, we got to chop this up because this is gonna spoil what's gonna happen for the rest of the fucking movie.
Basically, all those theme songs exist in a Will Smith movie because that's all. Like when Will Smith is in a movie, he always has to have like that one theme song. I think he's done a theme song for every single movie except for After Earth. But
he's done.
He just kind of looked at After Earth
None
and
of
just
his
like
new
fuck
movies
that
have
movie.
those anymore. That was like an old Will Smith thing to do.
Not
Like you
since-
have that in Wild Wild West. You have it in Men in Black.
I think he did
you have...
one for I Am Legend.
No, he didn't do one. No way, he did for I Am
Oh,
Legend.
okay. I thought he did one.
The movie ends is such a dark movie. Like woo!
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Woo! Save the human race, but I
Me and
died.
me and my dog been
Spoilers.
feeling on a captain's log. It's just like, yeah.
Was there one for Independence Day? I don't remember.
No, there
Yeah,
wasn't one for Independence
I could
Day.
have sworn that there was one.
Well,
think
think
so.
about it for a minute. I think it may have been strictly like a. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm wrong here. I think it may have entirely just been a record deal kind of thing because. Well, actually, no. Warner was Wild Wild West. Was that a Warner Brothers movie or was that a
Yes.
TriStar movie?
No, it's a Warner Brothers film.
Okay, never mind then. Well, because like it was Wild Wild West.
Men in Black.
Both Men in Blacks 1 and 2. He didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
and-
think he did one for 3. Did he do one for 3?
I'm pretty sure he did one.
He probably did.
Maybe for old time's sake, and then
I
he made a
haven't
remix.
seen 3, but
You never see. I'll tell you this: 3 is actually pretty good. Because 2 is kind of the one where it's just like, but 3 is almost like a comeback movie.
yeah.
I'm thinking, what if he
It's
did
not.
one?
It's not up to par with 1, but check it out. I enjoyed it.
I'll check it out.
He was the Wachowskis' first choice for Neo, so we could have got like red pill, blue pill, what? Going to the Matrix, you know?
I'm going to the Matrix.
Welcome to the Matrix. You could have had like a bunch of like, you know, hot chicks behind him, dressed in all black, like doing like some kind of choreographed dance for the video. At some point, the video and then halfway
Tommy Lee Jones is there. He's like, "Dance, you old man, dance! You're in a music video." Why did I sign up for this?
he like at some point, like you know, the video like has a really cinematic thing where it stops. Like Mr. Anderson, like hold up, you know, takes his sunglasses off. It's something I gotta take care of first. Like fucking battles Agent Smith.
There's
You have
like
the
a
movie score.
breakdance.
Kicks him through the door. It's just like, where were we? Right. What? You know, spins back around. Who's the one? Anyone? Mm-hmm. You know.
Wow.
I should have fucking wrote for Will Smith.
Yeah.
No, but what was I gonna say? So that almost happened, but something I was actually gonna mention earlier, because earlier we were talking about like you know Batman v Superman being one of the big movies coming out. I came across something. At first, I thought this was like a real big article. This is actually just someone who has a profile on MoviePlot.com, and I just thought this is something like so. I told you about this, Spencer. Someone went out of their way, tried to Da Vinci Code. He went to the bathroom. Well, I'll tell you, Marley. I told Spencer this. Right. So, someone went out of their way and basically tried to Da Vinci Code the upcoming trailer to the current trailer to Batman v Superman. With
so
everything
context
else.
There, Tom Hanks, Da Vinci Code.
Very much. It all came full circle.
Yeah.
So, basically, and this is it's just simply Rick. By Rick off MoviePlot.com. At first, like, this is a real article. Oh, no, this is what somebody just wrote, and the Movie Plot just found it interesting enough to post. So I'm not going to go into this, because this thing goes on for days. He's
probably going to get in trouble because it's not his last name. He's just like, dude, I totally leaked this information. So
yeah.
I can't reveal my last name.
This thing, I'm not going to read this whole thing, because I started reading this thing, like, I didn't really believe it. Just that was kind of interesting, and there's a few interesting points he brought up. Like, I didn't think about that. It's kind of clever. But the more I went down, this thing just fucking goes on and on and on and on. So I'm just going to speed up. I didn't even read the whole fucking thing. But basically, this guy kind of looked at this thing to an extent.
Who reads a full article nowadays?
Yeah, I don't even read the full cracked articles. I just read top 5 like reasons you're depressed. I just read the headline. Okay, fair enough, and move on.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Articles now.
Fair enough. I don't need to read the whole thing.
Top 5 items why I suck these days. BuzzFeed.
Well, the name of this is revealed. Ben Affleck's Batman is the biggest plot twist since Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. And it's by, Spencer, you're gone for this. It's by Rick from MoviePlot.com. Just Rick. And Rick went really out of his way to make this write this whole article that Da Vinci codes the whole thing into what's coming up in Batman v Superman. And his whole thing is, I'll just give you the short and simple of it. His theory is, I was reading it, I thought it was interesting. Then as it went on, I was like, what the fuck? No offense, Rick, but it started off. Basically, he believes that the Christopher Nolan movies take place in the same universe as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
Isn't that technically not true, though?
But
Zack Snyder has come out and said that it's a whole universe.
His whole thing's... Yeah, I know. We all think that. But his whole thing is, well, they've also blatantly lied in the past. Marion Cotillard is listed as Miranda when she's really Talia al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises. Liam Neeson is listed as Ducard when he was really... Rage al Ghul in Batman Begins. So... that was his whole point of that, and he says what's going to happen is it's going to be a plot twist. This is like, oh, and if you look, I don't know if this is true, but this sounds like typical internet bullshit. But he brought in that if you look at the toys coming out, there's multiple Batman toys, one of which we have not seen in the movie. The outfits you don't see in the movie looks a lot like Christian Bale, and he believes that Ben Affleck's not really Batman, that he's actually Deathstroke. And he's like, he starts off as like, a businessman who's also like a military guy on the side, or starts doing the whole vigilante thing and becomes more of becomes Deathstroke as time goes on. And that Jared Leto Joker isn't really just the new Joker. That is actually the John Blake character from
it Jason Todd?
No, not Jason Todd. It's the John Blake.
Because I know that's one of the fan theories.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be... No, I don't believe that's Jason Todd. He believes it's John Blake from Dark Knight Rises. Because it's just like... And if you break it down, he had this picture of just arrows pointing around like a fucking diagram, snapshots. It's like, if you break it down, John Blake, first two letters of his name, J-O. Last two letters of his name, K-E. Joke. John Blake, it's all a joke played on us. We don't get it, but he does, so.
The way you're describing this guy, I'm just imagining his room with, like, Batman, Joker, like, pictures on the wall with the strings
going across.
And stuff like that.
Like he's some kind of detective solving a crime for the last 5 years.
It's like, if you look at this picture taken in 1996...
Exactly.
It all connects to this one over here. And I'm just...
And it went on.
He's doing coke in a corner somewhere.
Now,
sorry, Rick.
Now, if Rick is right, I will fully say congratulations. You were the guy in the disaster movie that saw it all coming. You're John Cusack. Thank you.
Paul Giamatti.
You're Nicolas Cage.
Guy,
you saw the numbers.
You're the guy in 202012. I just forgot his name.
John Cusack.
No, it's not John Cusack. The guy that was on the radio.
Fuck 2012. I don't get it. I don't give a fuck about that movie.
Yeah, he was on the radio.
I'm the only one that doesn't.
Totally blanked on his name. He's in Hunger Games. He's the old guy. He was also in True Detective next to...
about Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yeah. Woody Harrelson's amazing.
Crazy guy in 2012.
I forgot he was in that movie. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
unfortunately, he's in that movie.
But I like 2012.
Yeah, I like 2012 too, but it's just a kind of typical Roland Emmerich movie.
But it's fun, and that's kind of that's what I like.
Yeah.
But so I mean,
have you seen San Andreas this year?
Christ.
Yeah, that movie's fucking amazing. Did you see it?
Yeah,
that's like it's like a perfect disaster movie. There's like nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and it has The Rock in it too, and can't go wrong with that. So
it's bad. I got that on Blu-ray a couple weeks ago.
Ryan, what were you gonna say?
But I was gonna say that
like, what's your fucking story about that?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, what did you fucking say about San Andreas? But no, no. Like, if this guy's right, then I guess okay, yeah. So you saw it coming. Congratulations. But I don't know. It's one of those things. First you read it, I feel like I'm kind of like being shitty. Like, look at this, what this fucking nerd wrote. I feel like I'm being kind of shitty about it. Hope it doesn't come across that way, but it's one of those things like at first it started off kind of interesting. This goes on like, Jesus Christ, this thing's still going on. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of an interesting, fun little theory, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, this was kind of a cool story. In the Ukraine, did you hear about this? They took the Lenin statue, and instead of taking it down, which always kind of bothers me. Now, this sounds like a weird thing. I mean, I know if like you live in a country and there's like a dictatorship, it's like, let's destroy that fucking statue of Saddam Hussein. But what I say is that's history. What you should do, it belongs in a museum. And hell, I'll take it. I'll fucking put a backyard museum of statues nobody wants and charge admission to it. But what they did to this one, they took the Lenin statue, the old Soviet leader, and they converted him into a Darth Vader statue.
Oh, that is awesome.
To me, I'm like, because mostly I'm always so against taking down statues because you don't want to forget history now. Because once you start to forget it, that's how history repeats itself. But when they did that, I'm like, no, that's fucking amazing. Like a Darth Vader statue. So he's kind of like in the same pose as Lenin, but he's just got the Darth Vader helmet on. I think he's got a cape they put kind of over it and so on. And what they did to top it off, they put a Wi-Fi unit in his helmet so you could sit there and use the internet too.
Oh,
that's cool.
Brave New World. That is awesome.
So it's like, that's what one's like, dude, I want to go to Ukraine, go see the Darth Vader statue, that used to be the Lenin statue. It's like double history right there. Which seems kind of weird, though. It's like, we want to get rid of this dictator. Well, who can we put? Well, Darth Vader's pretty cool. Isn't he like a horrible, evil dictator as well? Well, movies are cool. He's got a lightsaber.
In about 25 years, they're going to change Darth Vader to Kylo Ren or something like that, so...
Oh, no. Vader, yeah. He ain't going to change him to Kylo Ren. I'm hoping Kylo Ren doesn't really... I hope he's just not like... I don't want to be like... sound like everybody who bitches about the prequels. I hope he's not kind of like a whiny early Anakin. I hope he's already kind of like situated, because he's basically he's a young Sith who like is idolizing Vader. So he's hoping like, it's like there's that punk rocker who's kind of like, it's not punk enough. I hope he's not like, it's not Sith enough, guys. Come on,
Like he just starts off and he's just like jerking off in his room to like a picture of Darth Vader on the
wall.
Helmet,
to the Darth Vader helmet. Yeah.
Well, from the trailer, that's how it kind of proceeds.
Right into the eye socket, that's what he's doing. He has a shot overlooking his shoulder into like the Darth Vader helmet. He gets like a wad goes right into the like eye socket and makes that ping, like spit noise.
To be honest, I don't think Kylo Ren is going to be the main villain of this new trilogy. I think it's going to be I'm not sure if you guys seen the theory yet, but since Luke Skywalker isn't on the poster, the new poster, they're saying that he's the villain of the new trilogy.
That's fucking stupid if that's the case.
I don't know. I would kind of like that just because Luke has been through a lot recently, and in 4, 5, and 6, he was kind of flirting with the whole light and dark side, and it would make sense just with what happens in his family and how his family just makes a bunch of rash decisions for no reason. Like Anakin made a rash decision, so did Luke. Like when he went after Darth Vader and he lost his hand, it would make sense.
Because he went to save his friends, and Yoda's like, "Don't be a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
Come on, Yoda, man. Like, I'll be back. What are you gonna do down here? It's not like you got anywhere to go. See ya. Bye.
You could come with me. You're pretty good with the lightsaber. Yeah. Well, who's gonna watch my swamp? You say. Someone has to feed the mushrooms.
And since that Mark Hamill has been playing so many like villain roles like these days, like with Joker and in the Batman games.
He's also He's also like Trickster in Flash.
Yeah.
See, the only thing about that thing though is if you make Luke Skywalker the bad guy, it takes away, because that's supposed to be the whole thing, is that you can come sort of from like a family where, like in a sense, a not great family where you have your dad is the most evil ruler of the world, but you can become good in the process. If he goes bad, that almost takes away that thing like, yep, just bad bloodline, bad family, bad is bad, one of those. I feel that defeats the purpose of Luke overcoming all this stuff, and that almost shits on 4, 5, and 6, just saying that, like, hey, the guy who's like this ultimate good guy? Well, good doesn't last forever.
Well, the thing about that also is, it was kind of cool about, I mean, say what you will about the prequels. What I thought was pretty cool about the prequels is when you first watch the original trilogy, you think, okay, Luke's the chosen one. Then you watch the prequels, and then if you watch it the whole way through, all right, Vader was the chosen one the whole time. He just hit a speed bump. And that's kind of interesting when you think about it, that Luke the whole time, he was more of just a supporting character, and the idea that he's really incorruptible, because I think you need at least one incorruptible character, and I think you have that more in the original trilogy, but still, even in the expanded universe, I never read it, but at some point Luke goes bad, then his children bring him back to the good side, apparently. That's what I hear. But even regardless, go ahead.
I was just gonna say is that Luke's got to, like, he's got to be the guy that he's what brings the Jedi back to the the universe. So it's like, I just feel like him going bad, it's almost like kind of bad storytelling, but I think that just kind of ruins the moral of that character. That let's just have him bring everything back around, and I don't know if they're going to bring in characters like Kyle Katarn or whatever from fucking Dark Forces. Probably not, because the kind of forgotten universe, but sort of him starting up that whole Jedi League and the Jedi Academy and stuff. I assume that they'll probably use that. I mean, it's not going to be like just like how the stories were, but
I can see it being something kind of like to what they ends up happening. I hope he's not the villain. I really hope he's not. If he is the villain, then I don't think it's going to ruin it for me, because I'm sure there's other things the movie will get right. There'd be one of those things when I was younger, that one thing could ruin the whole thing for me, but now it's to the point, well, the rest of it's pretty good. That one thing's kind of dumb, but I think what's going to probably happen is he's maybe a little jaded, a little bit like, what's the point? But I hope because
Episode 7 starts with the camera panning in on Luke, and he has like a beer in his hand. He's sitting at the cantina bar, and just life is ended. Like he just killed his father. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on and stuff like that.
Just goes by son. That was fucking 30 years ago.
Yeah,
get the fuck over it.
I was there at the Battle of Endor. Like, yeah, we know, old man Skywalker. It was some shit. Yeah, we know. You tell the story every fucking night whenever you order the blue milk, like sunrise, okay? Just go do something.
Get on your Space Harley and get out of here. Yeah, well, whatever, it's all I got. It's for Space Harley. You know what, some of us we come back from war, and that's all there is for us is a motorcycle and a bar. My lightsaber doesn't even turn on anymore. Can you fucking believe that? Yeah, we know. He's carrying around just a handle, just so you can smack people over the head. Yeah, well, that's all it does! He's
the warranty ran out of my lightsaber. I should have gotten that.
I should have taken
warranty protection.
I should have taken it to. I did it. I can't. They took it to the Genius Bar. It was like a 3-hour wait. They couldn't figure it out.
I should have went with Android.
He's flipping. He's like doing like Force like magic tricks. Like, oh, watch this. He's like flipping quarters around and like levitating shit. Like, oh, the Force. And then like someone's like, yeah, we all know about the Force now. We could all do it. Watch this shit. Boom. Like.
Oh,
good thing Han Solo started up that Jedi Academy.
Look, kids, look.
That's all I ever fucking hear. Han this, Han that. Fuck you guys.
It wasn't enough. He had to go and fuck my sister. Like what you say?
I was gonna do that. Me. Just like, okay, Luke. She's calm down. Yeah, well, fuck you. It's okay. Nothing wrong if it's in the family. Keep it safe. Keep it real.
The Jerry Lee Lewis motto.
Yeah.
He just comes in. He was the real king of rock and roll. You're like, all right, fuck. He's not talking about the fucking his sister and the Endor War. He's talking about Jerry Lee Lewis
and his Space Harley. He just got like a leather jacket on, just says like the Endor War across it, sort of like a Vietnam thing.
It's like one of those. He's wearing like one of those like veterans hat. Like I was on the USS Arizona. Like I was on the Rebel blockade runner or something like that.
Oh my god!
Just got like some patches of like an X-wing, a blaster, and an Ewok.
His metal arm is all like decrepit. It's had a tune-up in a long time. You see, like, there's duct tape around it.
Yeah, some electrical tape around the fingers.
He goes up.
Only a couple. Only one of them works anymore. The only one that works is this one. Just flips the middle finger. Just stuck in that position.
Yeah, you see it? You see it? Like, he just, like, I like the idea of, like, fucking Han Solo starting up the Jedi Academy. Now, listen up, kids. It turns out, when I was your age, I all thought, or even a little just older, I thought this was all a bunch of bullshit. Apparently, it's real. And if you just think hard enough, it's actually pretty fucking easy when you think about it. Just think about moving that corner. See? Just like that. It's all you gotta do. Jedis aren't that special, you know? I keep on telling that to my brother-in-law.
He became a Jedi on an entire, like, flight that I had a pilot. So really, if, in all of 12 space hours, you can become a Jedi, too. Yeah. The Han Solo 12-hour Jedi course.
It's like on paid programming at 3 a.m.
Yeah, he's selling it.
Wow.
Not available in Dagobah, you know. Sorry, shipping's a little too expensive for that place.
I don't know.
I don't want no swamp people becoming Jedi. That's just a dirty business down there.
They got fucking like someone comes in like, oh, sorry, we don't take Tusken Raiders. Just what? You know, like sorry, just Tusken Raiders, just a little too like just starts a whole like fucking like civil rights case over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, no fucking sand people here.
Like that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
And he just points at a picture, and it just shows like a Tusken Raider with the thing with the spear. It's like that scene from Community. That scene from Community with the whole no dirty dancing, and he just points at Patrick Swayze with a
when they're in the ceramics class. Yeah.
And he's just like, it's okay. I made it before he died, so I made it in good taste.
Like no ghost in like the ceramics class. That's what it was.
Yeah. No ghosting.
There's one. You can't ghosting. The one rule I have: if you're in my ceramics class, you can't come up behind someone and do the ghosting.
Yeah.
I see it every day. I hate it. You know.
I don't know.
No, but Star Wars, it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
See, like as somebody who loves the prequels. There's no way I can't love 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
The people I worry about are the people that hate the prequels, because those people we already know are such like picky fuckers that they're gonna have such a hard time probably handling 7, 8, and 9 too.
I don't mind the prequels. It's just at this point that I feel like they've just like announced so many Star Wars movies where I feel a little bit burnt out. And now since I'm working in retail, I'm seeing like all the Star Wars toys. It's just like Star Wars is fucking everywhere. I'm like, I'm just kind of.
No, Disney.
I'm just kind of.
You thought George Lucas kind of hoarded Star Wars out, but it's like no. Disney literally, it's like Star Wars the makeup, Star Wars the coloring book, Star Wars the flamethrower. The kids love this one. That's literally what it's become.
You know, when Disney bought Star Wars, they're practically just jerking off like in their offices just because they love making toys for everything, and Star Wars toys were already been big to begin with, and I'm pretty sure that's really the main reason why they bought Star Wars.
Of course it was, yeah.
They weren't really excited about I'm sure they were excited about making new movies, but if they could just like make. If they knew people would buy it, they would make like a Darth Maul action figure and have like little kids like buy that. So
they already have. You can buy like the Darth Maul like Skyland or not Skylanders, but whatever the Disney Infinity ones.
I literally saw. It's one of those things. If I gotta think about it, I didn't. But if I gotta think about it, it says how many people are actually buying it. I saw there is like I guess it's going to be in Force Awakens. There is some kind of new X-wing with a black and orange paint job. I saw like a little Lego thing of that. And I don't really build Legos. I don't collect Legos. But I saw like, oh, that looks fucking cool. And for a 5-second period, I was like, I just might like, no, I'm not. But if I got that fucking close in a 5-second period, I can only imagine how many people like me who don't usually buy that shit are just like, oh my God, new Star Wars shit, you know?
Oh yeah, because there is a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like I was in the store once, and I was like, oh my God, look at the size of that fucking Wookiee over there. And then as I'm pointing at this and telling Laura about it, I was like, look at that. Like some fat lady was walking up, and she thought, I guess I was talking about her or something, because she gave us a very dirty look. But no, there was literally this Wookiee in the background that was maybe like 10 feet tall that you could put in your house. I think it was like kind of like a party blow up or stand up or something like that. But still, like, there's all this kind of stuff you see, you're like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Like, I probably won't get it, because I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it, but...
And she, like, turns and looks, she's like, why are you talking about me?
She probably goes home and cries to her husband, like, there's some fucking kids called me a fucking Wookiee today! Am I really that ugly?
That would be that's a
no.
kind of hilarious moment. That's kind of hilarious moment where you do just.
Well, because I'm like pointing. It's like above. It's kind of like up. You know, like you'd have to ask somebody to pull it down for you. So I'm pointing straight over this lady, but it does, you know, at the same time, it looks like I could almost be pointing at her.
But, yeah.
Look at the size of that Wookiee.
Look at that Wookiee, and it's just like this 8-foot tall dude, this really hairy dude.
I just imagine that lady.
And he just walks away, and it's just like he's just crying a single tear, and you hear Mad World theme song in the background. All around me are familiar.
You hear the Donnie Darko song. You just hear like, I just remember just every sentence like, Whoa, did you say that? I can't do the Wookiee noise, but it starts off with the Wookiee noise. Like, why do they say that about me? Whoa!
I'm trying to change.
No, but like,
yeah, there is sort of a flood of Star Wars stuff, and this is all I have to say. Is can we get a little bit more Star Wars video games? Because the only thing that's really coming out right now is Battlefront.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you guys play that beta of Battlefront?
No,
I was too late.
The thing about Battlefront, I have conflictions about buying that game because even though apparently there is like a single player mode, it still seems like they're asking a lot. And you're like, well, it's fucking Star Wars. Of course you're gonna fucking buy it because it's like $60, no story mode campaign. It's all mostly there just for online play. And then they have like I think another $60 season pass ready to go as soon as you get it. So it's just kind of like it's EA, so I know nothing.
So it's a $120 game is pretty much what it gets down to.
Yeah, so it's kind of like so EA already have trust issues with that. So I'm just kind of like I might get it because I'm not gonna lie, it does look like fun, but the whole concept of just like day one like DLC type shit like that, and then how much they're already asking for the game, and yet it's like, okay, but you can't throw in a single player story mode. I mean, I'm not one of the, I don't want to sound like, a fucking shutout or something, but the main reason I play video games is for like a single player mode. I don't want to have to rely on someone else to have their internet be working or have to play PlayStation Plus or pay for PlayStation Plus to have someone else come in and play this game. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this. I played the demo, and it was the best looking PS4 game I've ever seen. Okay. The graphics topped everything. I mean, it almost put sort of like even Batman and Metal Gear Solid 5, not really the shame, but it was the next level. It really looked like you were playing a next-gen game. They were fantastic. Now, gameplay-wise, I don't think it was up to par to Battlefront 1 and 2. I do not think so. Now, it's a demo, so you can't really say much, but it literally kind of had like a Call of Duty feel. Running around. Oh, I'm dead. Running around. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, look, I found an X-Wing or something. Or not like an X-Wing, but I found like, an AT-ST. Oh, cool. Get in it, start walking. Everybody's like, there's a guy in a fucking AT-ST. Shoot the fuck out of him. Oh, okay, well, that lasted all of, 30 seconds.
So it's basically just Battlefield 4, my experience with Battlefield 4, because the multiplayer...
And the thing I didn't really like about it, to get, to drive anything in that game, it's not like you just walked up and picked one up. You had to find a power-up to get it. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, is, I was just playing the Hoth level, but the downfall of Hoth is everybody looks the fucking same because everybody's wearing white. The only thing you can tell is that, it's Stormtrooper because he's wearing a mask, but you don't see that till you get close to him, and by that time, you're dead.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a little, the aimer, the crosshair, does it turn, green or red?
I don't think they have that in that one. I'll say this, even though, once again, it's a demo, so you can't really judge demo too much, but what I liked about Battlefront 1 and 2 was that game... Though it was a shooter, you were kind of still doing missions. That was more what it was about. It was kind of like, you went to a planet, they had a little bit of story to kind of back up why you were doing this, and then you'd have to either capture areas, defeat certain things, progress on, and it wasn't just a complete, let's just run in there and shoot the living daylights out of everything. What's going on? I don't know, shoot it! And that's kind of how Call of Duty always felt. And sometimes that thing where they just throw you in anywhere, where are you going to throw me on the map? I don't know, I'll throw you right here. But what if a guy responds behind me? Fuck you. He's going to respond behind you and shoot you in the back. Where Battlefront was always you progress forward. So you captured an area, now you had this much more terrain. Then you captured the next area, you had this much more terrain. It wasn't like you're going to have a bunch of guys coming up from behind you, shooting you in the back for no reason at all. Because why? Because they responded back there. Why did they respond back there? I controlled the entire area. So, and I will say, I think it is a game that's completely online. I mean, they might say I think when they say they're single player stuff, it's not story mode. It's more here's a challenge level, you know, defeat as many stormtroopers in 5 minutes. I think it's that stuff. I don't think it's a real game.
And that's it's kind of like that more multiplayer arcade based type shit is kind of what kind of steers me away from games. Now I can see them coming out with an expansion 2 or 3 down the line, kind of I could see this being kind of like Destiny, where it comes out, it has a strong fan basis of it, and it's kind of small, but then it gets kind of bigger when they come out with more expansions.
I'm almost surprised they didn't EA didn't go the whole Nintendo route with what Nintendo's doing with Splatoon, because I thought what Nintendo did with Splatoon, how they released it at the beginning of summer, and throughout summer they just had free updates all year round. Did you get Splatoon?
Free levels. I did.
Yeah, that game is my favorite game of the year almost. It's just so fun and colorful, and I just love like in Turf War. Like I'm really bad at first person shooters, and I can just kind of like zone out and just kind of paint the ground, just go la da 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 da. But
Making that sing song.
Well, that one's
yeah,
it's cool because it's such a refreshing take on the first person shooter genre. I mean, instead, like, I mean, yeah, you can go up and kill people if you want, but what you're doing more than anything is like the goal is always to cover the land with paint. So if you want, you can kind of hide out in the back and go, do, I'm painting my way to points and not have to battle anybody, or you can run up there and shoot the guy like, check this, you fucking asshole, and shoot him down with paint.
But really, the people...
And I think it's just cool that Nintendo's not being, because Nintendo's being kind of cheap with Super Smash Brothers. They're making that game the fucking $120 game. But at least Splatoon, it's, you know, yeah, it's just like, oh, you know, they keep giving out free. I don't think they've charged for anything yet so far on it. It's just free levels, free upgrades, free guns.
And the thing that has helped with the game because it's a new IP, it's keeping people engaged with the game. They're constantly like, oh, I know that every single Saturday at 7 p.m. they're going to release a new map or a new weapon. So it's keeping people playing and keeping people interested. So well, EA doesn't usually...
And it's ballsy, too, for the fact that Nintendo's the only company that's not charging you to play online. Mm-hmm. I mean, they only have, you know, their handful of games, but that costs a lot of money because, you know, I mean, I understand why you got to pay for Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus servers. Because somebody's sitting there maintaining all those servers and stuff. You know, it's not like, I don't care, you know, whatever, fucking, I don't want to pay this guy. It's sort of the people that don't want to tip anybody.
Don't compare me to the guys that don't want to tip. Don't compare me to those guys.
It's just that thing. It's like, somebody's got to get paid. And it's not like it's that expensive. It's like, it's really like a minimal fee, and they give you a bunch of other bonuses on top. I mean, cool thing about PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live is you get free games, you get discounts, and so on. I mean, no matter what, even if you never played online, it would still be worth it just for what you get. But to have Nintendo not charge, it's like, you know, even with Super Smash Bros., even though some of that stuff's kind of expensive, if you played a lot of online, you could kind of almost justify it. Be like, yeah, I'll pay $20 for the next DLC because, you know what, technically I'm getting it all for free to play online.
Yeah, that Rio DLC was awesome.
But no, Splatoon is like kind of the way of the future, at least. Like
the Street Fighter DLC was awesome for Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even though, like, fighting games, I think, are the worst of the DLC games out there. Because a fighting game is already a game that's kind of simple, you know, never has that big of a story in it. Mortal Kombat and Injustice had good ones, but other than that, you know, but I've noticed a lot of fighting games nowadays, and this is why I'm iffy about buying a fighting game day one. They've all gone to the point where they're like, we can charge the fuck out of people. You know, they'll go like, we'll release a bare bones game, charge regular price for it, like you're actually getting all the content, and then we'll fucking nickel and dime every costume, every character, every extra stage, you know, for the next couple years. And that's sort of...
And the shitty thing is that it's when it's already on the disc. It's not like something they came out with later in the line. It's when it's already on the disc and you just pay to unlock it.
Exactly. That bothers me too. It's like, if they're going to do that, this is almost how fighting games should be. Like, the core game should either be like $20 or almost free. Like, you pay, like, almost like that. Like, I could say like you bought Street Fighter V, and they're like, okay, Street Fighter V, it's free. All you get's Ryu and Ken, though. But the game's free. And, you know, so you can test out the mechanics, see if you want to get it or whatnot. And then, you know, maybe you pay, like, not nickel and dime every character, but maybe you do something where you pay, like, okay, you pay $10 and you get, you know, the original Street Fighter 2 cast. You know, I mean, you pay another $10 and you get all the new fighters. You pay another $10, you get, you know, the alpha characters. Like, I could see something like that. So then you kind of justify it, like, I got the game for free, and now I paid $40 for character packs and level packs. Well, I've still paid cheaper than the regular game, right? And if I only wanted to have just the Street Fighter 2 characters in the Street Fighter 5 form, well, that's all I want. I only paid $10. Like, I could see that.
Because I really want to get Street Fighter 5, but after Street Fighter 4, and
Street Fighter 4, it sounds so weird because I like that game. I consider that the worst purchase of like the last 5 years. It might be a little bit longer to go than that, but I consider that the worst video game purchase I've got in a long time. Yeah. I just felt like they fucked me over so much.
I just hope that it seems like Nintendo is like the trendsetter in like the video game industry. I hope with the success of Splatoon and people loving that game, I hope that other companies see like, oh, maybe we should actually charge people like $6 for a full game and do like these free updates. I think that's a great idea just because it keeps people engaged. So I actually do need to get back into Splatoon. My Wii U is actually unplugged from my TV right now, but I'm gonna plug it back in and play some.
I'll tell you this: I actually haven't played Splatoon in a couple months.
Yeah, the same here.
It was a great game, but we know what's another thing I thought would be a great way to sell your game is to have something where if you buy the game in the first month it comes out, you get the season pass for free. Mm-hmm. Like that's so the guy that buys the game a year from now and he gets the game for $20, well, he still has to pay $30 for the season pass. So it's technically justifies, that everybody's no matter what's going to pay the full retail price, but instead you honor the people that buy your game right away and give you the main money, because that's really where all your money comes from. It's like, movies. The guys that pay for your stuff in the first month, and then the first month of when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, that's your main source of money.
Or
the
even
people that buy it a year or two later on that buy it used, they actually don't give you any money.
Definitely, if you're going to buy it used, since most of the if you're still buying it at GameStop, since GameStop takes like all of used game sales anyways, make them pay for like the season pass, so the developers are still getting that money. I actually kind of like that idea. So
I think that's a smart way. But then like the people that go out and say, "Oh, I'm going to buy Halo 5 today, right now," don't go like, "Fuck you guys," because you bought it day one. Be like, you know what? You bought it day one. We'll give you all the maps. Yeah. And I know it's because they can. Because they got you by the balls and they can go, you know what? We can do whatever the fuck we want. These Halo faggots will do whatever they want to get their next map pack. We got them. Like, what are they going to do? Like, you're not going to get the map pack? Well, guess what? You don't get the map pack? You don't play online with your friends. You know what? You'll be labeled as poor, stupid, and a loser. And you don't want that, do you? And Master Chief's going to come to your house, kick you really hard in the balls, and say, give me my fucking money.
And you're going to be like, okay, God.
Well, I don't want Master Chief coming to my house and kicking me in the balls because look what he's wearing.
I want boots. I mean, seriously, that could do some serious damage.
Kicking in the balls,
you should just say the ball destroyer right on it.
Ball destroyer.
I just
that sounds like an FF, like a San Francisco State film school's film kids. Ball destroyer.
Premiering at the Castro Theater. No, there was like I heard something about the upcoming Halo that apparently you have to have your I think Xbox One updated to like Microsoft 10. I mean, for a while it was an option, but now it has to be on Microsoft 10 in order to play that game. But
it's just because Microsoft
they want to push Microsoft
Windows 10. The Windows 10 is just going to be running everything, which
I'll say. Because
I don't know how I feel about that, because my huge gaming PC has been running Windows 10 recently. Mm-hmm. Not too happy with it. I kind of want to switch back. So it's a good thing I still have a Windows 7 disk, and I'll probably just use that. But
sounds kind of like Terminator Genesis. We got this one program running everything.
Yeah.
Well, really, it's like the Xbox One. That system technically has to be online like all the time. Like they kind of like said that like no, it doesn't have to be. And in a sense, yeah, but like the way that those games work when you get them is they don't always have all the shit on the fucking disc. They literally start downloading from the internet to get the rest of your game sometimes.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. So the worst part about the Xbox One too is you get a new game, you're like, yeah, I got a new game. You put it in, it's like, well, see you in 24 hours. Because it's got to fucking do this long-ass install and mostly download something on top of it. Every once in a while you get a game. It doesn't take that long. But so many of the games, it's like I get all excited. I get the game. It's like, oh, well, I guess not playing that anytime soon today.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, I know what you mean. I mean, it's not it's not as bad on PS4, but it's still kind of... You still have sometimes if I got I was playing Life is Strange. Just got the last episode a little bit ago. And it took like a full 2 hours to download the last episode.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit different because that's not like you bought it on disc.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's when you buy it on disc, you're kind of like, oh, because I went out and I bought that Killer Instinct game, which I thought that the one that they had in the store would have had everything on it, but it doesn't.
Oh.
I only paid $20, but still. You put the disc in and then it starts installing everything. And that game, talk about a fighter that kind of fucks you over. They did it in the sense they're like, well, yeah, the game's already been out for a couple years and you got a disc out there and everything, but the disc is just the first half of it. You want the second half, you still got to pay at least $20, if not more.
Oh my God.
So they've kept that game at pretty much a $60 game the whole time. It's in a sense, you can't get it cheaper than about $60 if you want everything. Now you could probably pay about $40 and get, without sort of the extra, bells and whistles. But they kind of had fucked people over with that game in a way, which if you bought it day one, I guess that's not bad. You paid $60, you got everything. So that's not bad. But when it's been like 3 years or whatever that game's been out, or 2 years, you kind of go, really? You guys are going to still kind of try to fuck people over?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will say that game plays really awesome. If it's a sweet successor to like Killer Instinct, which hasn't had a game in 15 years.
Yeah, we're just talking about in-game content, that how the developers just nickel and dime you, but they also, like, especially in fighting games, the developers really nickel and dime you with like controllers, like saying like, oh, you need to get like our exclusive fight stick because there's no other way to play this game because you must be
at least
you're
that
a noob if you play like a fighting game on a regular gamepad. Buy this $150 fight stick with the Street Fighter logo on it, and yeah, it's just. It's all craziness.
Do they just want you to use the fight stick?
Yeah,
are there games where you have to play with the fight stick?
There's developers out there and just like marketing agencies saying that you have to buy the fight stick or you're a pansy or something like that. They don't say that obviously, but
for the real gamer.
Yeah, for the real gamer, if we buy this fight stick with Ryu on it or Ryu, I don't know.
It's like if you go to like one of those. If you go to like a convention, the people that brought their own fight stick, like this huge, and just like I don't know. I'm one of those people. I think the fight stick looks cool and all that, but I'm more used to just the controllers by this point. Having the big giant platform with the 6 buttons and then the big fight stick. I'm just not. I mean, I played Street Fighter in the arcade, but I played more Street Fighter on like Dreamcast and PlayStation, so I'm more used to that by this point.
See, for me, I've only played fighting games in the arcade. I only have memories of that, like playing in the arcade. The only fighting game I don't really call it a fighting game is Smash Brothers. That's the only console Smash Brothers console fighting game that I've played. So.
Well, for me, this is how I always notice. When I use the fight stick, I can be super good at a game with the D-pad. The second I put the fight stick in my hand, it's almost like I have never played the game before. It gets bad real quick. Now, I do understand why the fight stick's technically the superior controller, and it's the way that your hands are, because your hands on a controller, it's just your thumbs doing the buttons. But a lot of those games, you need to hit all 3 of them at once, to do your specials and stuff. Now, on the controller, sometimes they put a button on there that does it for you. So, but by having your hands on it, so all your fingers are there, it does kind of make it sort of the superior one if you're really going to get the tournaments and so on.
Yeah.
But I think that's just, in general, it's just like, no, the D-pad can do me just fine. What I do like, though, is they sold them for a while. I don't know if they have them on any of the new systems, but the ones that are like the Sega Saturn controller, and you can get the Street Fighter one and so on, where it had the 6 buttons across. Those are cool.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, because I had friends would have those big, giant, like, Street Fighter, Tekken controllers, and I would just always fuck up. And, well, first off, it'd be rare they let you play that thing anyway, because that was their baby. Like, no, it's mine. You know what I mean? They get very protective.
Well, they cost, like, $100 at least.
Yeah, exactly. And they always, And then, like, if chances are, like, it would be the one you didn't want. Like, if they did get, like, well, I wanted, like, Akuma, or I wanted, like, I wanted Guile, but all I got was D-Hawk.
Yeah, you always get like one of those ones. It's like, oh, okay.
Or Necro, Just like the most obscure character.
But yeah, I think just the worst part about that DLC in fighting games is that a fighting game in itself is just you're already not getting a whole lot of content. And this comes from somebody who loves fighting games, but they're those kind of games that unless you got your friends over, I guess nowadays you can always play online, but it's never the same playing online than playing with your friends. You're not going to get a copious amount of content out of it. You're lucky if you can get 10 hours out of a fighting game. If you can get 10 hours out of a fighting game, you did a good fucking job. But in general, it's mostly a game that, your buddies come over like, hey, dude, you want to play some Street Fighter? Yeah, let's play some Street Fighter. You play it for a half an hour, and then you probably don't play it again until a couple weekends later. At the most. So once you realize you start paying $120 for these fucking fighting games, that's when I feel it's like, okay, you guys are really pushing it there. I understand with something like a Fallout if you want to charge $120 because I know I'll get 120 hours out of it, I'm not going to feel like I'm not getting my money's worth. But a fighting game, I will never get that much out. Unless you're Mr. Tournament player who comes home every night and puts in like 3 hours of Street Fighter day in, day out, you just don't get that.
When's Fallout 4 coming out? I forgot about that.
It comes out like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got to hurry up and finish Metal Gear.
November 6th or 7th, I believe.
I keep getting texts from people that finally got towards the end of Metal Gear. Like RJ sent me one. He's like, dude, what the fuck? These last levels? It's like, I already played this shit. No, it's a hard one. I'm like, dude, I tried to tell you that weeks ago. I was telling you about what you were going to come to in the war, but nobody listened.
Yeah. You're like the guy in Platoon that has a scar on his lip. Like, fuck y'all know about death. You got there.
Is Metal Gear really as good as people are saying it is?
What?
Is
it's
Metal
not
Gear
okay.
Really
you go first.
Yeah.
You beat it.
This is how I'll say it. It's a really fun game. Really worth getting. Now, for some reason, that game's getting kind of like 9.5 out of 10s. I don't think it's that kind of game. I think gameplay, it's perfect. It plays really smooth. But the way they sort of did the open world thing, it makes it kind of repetitive. And then to top it off, if you're pretty much a big Metal Gear fan and you're looking for a whole lot of story, there's just not a copious amount of it. I mean, it's there, and it's enjoyable when it does happen, but it's a little bit lackluster in the true Metal Gear department. It feels like it's a spin-off game, sort of like Metal Gear Rising, or even though this game's almost kind of a main game, but sort of a spin-off, Peace Walker for the PSP. That's what it's the real sequel to.
And plus, even when they do have some of the Metal Gear elements, most of the voice cast is different, and even their image is different. Even though it's solid, even though it's Snake, he looks still different. You can tell it's supposed to be Snake, but just the way they animate him, he just looks different.
Isn't it Kiefer Sutherland now, and not
it's Kiefer Sutherland, yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like the way they make him look, even though you could tell it's who it's supposed to be, it still looks something about him. You can just tell it's different. It doesn't have like as much of an anime-ish look it had before.
Well, it looks like Kiefer Sutherland. That's the thing.
Yeah, it looks more like Kiefer Sutherland.
If it was a movie, I'd be like, that's fine. I mean, I kind of accepted it by this point that it's Kiefer Sutherland. Because what else are you going to do? You can either sit there and complain, or you can just kind of accept it and try to enjoy it for what it is. Because it's not like, 2 years ago, hell yeah, we could complain because maybe they could change it in time. But by this point, whatever.
I enjoyed it. I do enjoy the thing. Just we say this real quick. I do enjoy the thing. It's just one of those things where it would just be kind of like. It was kind of like backpedaling, I thought it was almost kind of like trying to please people who weren't really Metal Gear fans.
Which we see a lot of that in video games, I noticed, in about the last almost 10 years by now. But
especially Konami.
Yeah, a lot of these companies, Final Fantasy was the first offender, I think, of all this, where they kind of said, like, hey, those people that always thought that our games were fucking stupid? And they're like, yeah, I hate those people. Well, guess what? Let's try to sell to them. Cool. What about our original fans? Fuck them. They like turn-based and shit like that. They can go die in their own fucking grave for all we care. Because that's how I always felt like that's how Final Fantasy's been since 13. Like, it's literally, it's just one of those, or no, since 12. They just went in one direction, got rid of the turn-based, and just said, let's never go back to that. And a lot of all the original Final Fantasy fans kind of fell, and they're like, either some of them try to convert over and just say, well, I'll just put up with it and see what it's like. And a lot of them kind of just went, well, I guess that's the end of the great journey. We're like Alexander. We got to the edge of the world, cried, said, I guess that's the end of Final Fantasy, and decided to play something else.
Yeah.
I mean, we could still get, they're coming out, they're throwing their Hail Mary. To get back the original fans, they're coming out with the remake of 7. That's their Hail Mary.
But they don't have turn-based or any, it's a modern game.
Do they say it's not turn-based?
Yep.
I don't think it's developed by them internally. It's developed by a third-party developer that they're just kind of throwing money at. Just because.
Well, Square has kind of bought a bunch of companies over the years. Yeah. They're almost like the Japanese, but whatever. Okay, back to whatever.
We're talking about Metal Gear or no Final Fantasy.
Would you still I was never really a diehard Final Fantasy fan. I've always thought, it's kind of cool, but I never really got into it so much. As a hardcore fan of 7, do you see yourself getting the remake?
This sounds like such a weird thing, and I'll tell you this, I'm not looking forward to it. And I don't mean to sound like bitchy and almost like Star Wars episode or Star Wars fans that go I hate the prequels or something like that, because that's almost how I feel. But when it's just going to be this completely different game, because here's the thing, I tried out some of those other games, maybe not exactly, I tried, there was one that came out for the Wii U that everybody seemed to like, and it looked really cool. It looked like Final Fantasy VIII. I was like, oh, this looks awesome. And I played a couple hours of it, and just every single time I've tried some of those new RPGs, I just can never get into them. It's just, I don't like the play style. I think they kind of play like shit. Because the thing is they get this half-ass kind of game going, where it should be turn-based, but since now you run around, but it doesn't play like running around like Devil May Cry smooth or something like that. Because if you're going to run around, might as well have it play like Ninja Gaiden or something like that. A really well-made game. But, so I've just never been able to get into it. Like, the only run-around RPG that I was kind of fine with, but this was sort of different, was that Crisis Core for PSP, the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. But that was a PSP game, it was, kind of simple and so on. Like, I felt like it worked fine for that. But just, I don't know. So I might buy it. It's one of those ones. I don't know. Like, I might not even buy it day one. That's how, like, not that forward I'm looking to it. Like,
begrudgingly,
it might be one of those ones. Maybe I should just stick to, like, Final Fantasy VII the way it was, God intended, and just don't mess with, like, what comes next.
It's on Virtual Console on the Wii U, I think.
No, it's going to PS4.
No, the actual Final Fantasy VII. I thought that
it's on PS3.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about like the old one?
Yeah, the old one.
Yeah, it's on. You can download them all on PS3. Yeah, Nintendo, you only get the Nintendo ones, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where I don't know. It's. I feel like if you're gonna make a remake of Final Fantasy VII one, why don't you make it for the people that actually care? I guess it's the new fans have been around for so long that technically, in video game terms, probably. Especially for like RPGs and Japanese RPGs, I guess that we're already past the point where it's like we don't need to make it for the senior citizen audience of video games now.
That'd be us.
You know what I mean? Because in a sense, like video games go by so fast in generations that we are already the outdated gamers as far as that genre is probably concerned. Because I will say, an RPG, probably somebody who's from the age 10 to probably 25, if that, not even that, probably 10 to 20 something. Is probably the target audience for those. Because when you get older, I think your time becomes more limited, so those games become less appealing to sort of an older generation. Not saying that they don't like them, but, that's why something like Call of Duty appeals really heavily to people in their 40s. Because it's quick, easy to play, and so on.
I was just thinking here, lately a lot of Japanese games haven't been doing as good as they used to do. Do you think maybe just me spitballing here, and I'm guessing JRPGs are a part of that too. Do you think possibly one of the reasons why JRPGs have dropped recently, at least as far as Americans go, is because of they don't have the switch off anymore? Or do you think more people are just interested in shooting each other online?
Well, the thing about the shooting people online, you know who that really appeals to more than anything else? It's not gamers. It appealed to like the casual gamers that like
college.
Well, yeah.
College frat guys.
Well, because before like hardcore gaming back in the day, you almost when you met somebody else who played video games, you could just communicate so well because you all share the same thing. Where nowadays you can go to somebody's house and be like, "Oh, dude, you got an Xbox One or whatever," and then you just kind of look at all you see is Madden, Call of Duty, and maybe a couple other games, and then you realize
maybe Battlefront.
Yeah, it's like the casual gamers, and you kind of go, "Dude, did you play the new Devil May Cry or something like that?" Even though this fucking old by now, but so you'd say something like that. Where back in the day, people were like, "Yeah, dude, I fucking just played it, man." But now you do that in the casual. That's awesome, dude! You realize these people like you're like, oh, they're not really gamers. They're casual guys that probably work some job that back in the day they probably ridiculed people for playing video games. But Call of Duty appeals to them. Madden appeals to them. So I think that's why those games sell so much. Is not saying a gamer doesn't play them or can't play them, because it really. There's nothing wrong with Call of Duty. It's a bad game or anything like that, but it just is so overblown. It's not the most amazing thing, but it appeals so heavily to the casual gamer. And that's why people like it so much. JRPGs is the most hardcore gamer game there is about. So I think, the people it appeals to, it's the same group of people that have been around for the last 20 years. It's just now we've got all these other casual gamers that have jumped into the loop that there wasn't beforehand. So it makes that percentage of gamers that like RPGs look slimmer and slimmer just because it's increased.
I'm just wondering if the turn-based thing is kind of like, since they almost got rid of turn-based games like that, if that's almost kind of what's contributed to the decline of like JRPGs, just because I would be more interested in a lot of these games if they were turn-based. A lot of them aren't though, so that's just the thing that kind of like pushes me away. It's kind of like you said, if I'm going to be running around and dodging and all that, might as well make it run smooth and kind of play like something like a hack and slash or an action adventure game, where these ones it is like, okay, whack them, like I see a little like damage thing go down, okay, run over here, get distance, charge up, run back, whack them, do the same, summon magic from a distance. It just doesn't, it doesn't feel as smooth. It's not as fun to me.
Well, because like back in the day, I remember like in the good old 90s, there used to be, we'd say there's two types of RPGs. You either got your Zelda type, which is your run around action RPG in a sense, or you had your Final Fantasy type, which was your turn based. And I think what happened over time is when things like Skyrim became really popular and other games that are all kind of similar to that, kind of like The Witcher and Dark Souls, even though I know Dark Souls is a Japanese game. But when those games all became really popular, and pretty much their predecessors and so on, those games are all run around American RPGs, and I always kind of considered like they kind of started with Ultima and EverQuest, and even you could almost say World of Warcraft. That's sort of where the run around RPG started to get a lot of steam. Was there, and then it progressed into other genres where they took over, like Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star hasn't been a turn-based game since number 4. They're once they went Phantasy Star Online, it's been that kind of style since then. So they phased out the turn-based ones kind of over time, and I think people got so used to playing all these modern ones that it's, to a new gamer, it might be weird to see a turn-based game because it's been so long since they come out. Really, the only thing that kind of keeps turn-based alive is sort of like the 3DS, because Pokemon is the perfect example of like they keep the turn-based strong. They're the best RPG makers out there.
That's the casual turn-based game. But I know for me, I haven't really played like a really in-depth, like hardcore like RPG in a really long time. Like I don't really count Fallout as like one of those hardcore RPGs because it's really streamlined. But I know for me, for the reason why I don't really play a turn-based like JRPG is because usually those games are like at least 70 hours long, and it's just there's so much time that you have to put into it to actually get into the story and just like get into the gameplay. I like nowadays, like I really don't have that much time anymore. It's like there's like I barely have enough time like fitting into like the regular stuff I
fitting
do
in a match of Splatoon, let alone playing a full game.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, see,
that's really just a time thing for me.
That's where I come to the conclusion that maybe it's due to the fact that, okay, the RPG target audience is 10 to 20, people that don't have jobs and only go to school. Because that's when I played a copious amount of RPGs, was at that period. So, and the thing is people that are aged 10 to 20 probably never played a turn-based RPG. So why would you make an RPG turn-based for that audience that's, 25 to 45 years old? Because you don't, that audience, the chance of them buying it is maybe 1 out of 3 of them are going to pick it up. Because the other 2 out of 3 just don't have that time. Even though I still feel, because I run into like guys that are in their 30s who are all, hardcore Final Fantasy fans, and they're just waiting to get another game. Like they really want, because they love Final Fantasy. They love all these older games from PlayStation, Super Nintendo days. But it's the new RPGs they just have such a hard time with. They can't wait for that next one to come out, and it just hasn't come out. And the last system to really have RPGs was PS2.
I'm sure they exist because they keep making them, but I've not really heard, maybe they're own Japan, but I've not heard anybody talk good about any of the Final Fantasies from 13 and up.
I have heard people talk good about them, but they're the people that accepted them for what they were.
And I'm not willing to be that just yet.
Exactly, because like there was a guy, he's like in his 30s, and he accepted them for what they were, and he enjoyed them. So he played through all the 13 games. He thought they were good. So I mean, not saying that they can't be. I think the thing about Final Fantasy 13 is it pissed off all the old Final Fantasy fans, and that's what I think made it kind of difficult for them to get into it, because they played something like there's no fucking world map, there's no turn based, there's no run around, like as far as like running around the world and doing all your kind of stuff. The story was very linear, and so on. And everybody just wants, it's like, can we just get, it's like the last real full-on RPG was Final Fantasy 9. Because 10 started to eliminate things. Because in 10 you didn't get the world map. That was gone in it. It got rid of the level up system for the stupid spears thing. But it was still turn-based at least. 10-2, because that one's just more like that's a great game, but it's a short RPG. It's almost like, I feel like if I'm going to play Final Fantasy over again, I might play 10-2 because that game takes less than 20 hours to go through the whole thing. And it plays like a greatest hits of all the battle systems of Final Fantasy. You level up in it and so on.
doesn't have a world map and so on. But by the time like 12 came out, that was when they got rid of the turn-based, and from that point on, it's been gone ever since. And there's never been a game on 360. There's one game on 360 and PS3. It was made by the guy who created Final Fantasy 1 through 9. It was called Lost Odyssey, and I played it, and it had cool in it. It was neat, but it had the only thing I didn't like. It had the old archaic kind of like RPG style where it's like, this guy does magic, this guy does attacks, this lady does white magic, and which meant that when these people that do magic attack, they do like 15 damage every single time. So they're like so useless. And then when you cast magic, it takes fucking a minute to do every single time. We're not that long, but 20 seconds. But that 20 seconds adds up to a lot when you're battling over and over and over again.
You just want your entire team just to be like guys with swords. They're just ripped.
Exactly. Well, that's what I liked about, because that's why Final Fantasy VII, like the two greatest Final Fantasies as there are, you could do that. If you didn't want to use magic in that game, you could say, fuck magic. It's a piece of shit. I don't want to use it. And you didn't have to. And that's what I like. You made your characters whatever you wanted them to be. Because Final Fantasy IX was kind of the problem. They went kind of back to that system where, like, you got Vivi, and he ain't doing no damage unless you cast magic every time. So every single time you cast fire, he's standing out there waving his arm. You're like, come on, Vivi, come on, Vivi. And then he throws the fire. And the worst part about it is you realize that for all that effort it took for him to cast that spell, he did the exact same damage as Zidane. So you're like, give fucking Vivi a fucking broadsword and have him like beat the shit out of people. I don't care. Give him a fucking gun. I don't know. Just because it's old time, he can't have a gun.
He just pulls out a 45, just bam, 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 just his go down. Like, oh fuck.
He's like, this is taking forever.
I'm not fucking around here. Like, okay, Vivi, just chill the fuck out.
He's like, I'm a fucking clone and I don't give a fuck. But
something in this room is gonna fucking die. Just holy shit.
But literally, the only good RPG I have played since Final Fantasy X-2, that's going back a long ways, is Pokemon. It's like the only thing that really has been, I'm trying to even think, because the rest of the games, it's like the last good time of RPGs was probably the PS2, kind of like was the final bout of having some. But that's also the place where they kind of, turned over too.
I'm looking at you right now. You have Glory Days playing in your head by Bruce Springsteen.
I know. It is. And it's that sort of thing. Sometimes I go like, well, you know what? There's enough PlayStation RPGs that I have not played. I've pretty much played through all the Super Nintendo ones, so there's not a whole lot going back there except for playing them over. But there's enough kind of old RPGs throughout the 90s that you could go back and play all the ones you kind of missed or never finished. But all I really want is I've just always wanted to see a classic style RPG with fucking awesome graphics. You know what I mean? Like, think of it like having Final Fantasy VII, but with PS4 graphics, but it plays like Final Fantasy VII.
We may get there one day. I mean, you know what? We're going to reach a point, I bet, where it wouldn't surprise me the least bit if someone did a fan game and basically just said, you know what? It's not going to look as good as, not now, not anytime soon, but probably within our lifetime. It wouldn't surprise me if we reach a point where making a game, you could probably do it, because now people are making their own games, doing like indie designers and all that. Wouldn't surprise me if you can eventually get a program sometime in the future where it looks as good as, say, as a PS3 game or something, and you could just like drag and drop, and someone does enough mods and kind of makes a classic turn-based style game and just has like makes it look as much as they can like Final Fantasy VII. It wouldn't surprise me the least bit, or at least other games like that come before it.
I would just like to add that I have been playing South Park: The Stick of Truth, and that is actually
I take that back. That is the only game in recent times that it plays like a traditional great RPG. It plays like Super Mario RPG. That's how cool that game is.
Yeah, and that developer, I forget that they also developed Fallout New Vegas. That they are actually really good at making classic turn-based RPGs. I actually really like that developer. I forget the name of them, but South Park: The Stick of Truth is so great. That like all the jokes.
I forgot. You're right.
Show the animation is like the same like crappy animation, but still really good. Like the same thing that we expect from South Park. But yeah,
I like because you get to walk around the town and you get to visit all the places and so on that you know and love. And plus, it's perfect RPG for an old person because it's only like 14 hours long or something like that. So it like never takes up too much of your time.
I don't really want to spoil a lot of the jokes in there, but probably one of my favorite jokes is like towards the beginning of the game where Cartman asks you to he's like, so what is your warrior's name? And the dialogue box types in, please type in your name. You type in a name, and Cartman's just like, so your name is douchebag. Welcome, douchebag, to Cartman's clan. And I think as
Now,
far as like even if what name you put in, he just calls you douchebag.
It's always that.
I like that
Everybody just calls.
I like that he called you like, what was it? It was like I didn't play the game, but I just saw the openings. It was like, what's your class? You could be a warrior, wizard, Jew.
I always said if I was going to play that game over again, I want to play as the Jew. I just want to see what that's all like.
But I don't know if this sale is still going on right now on Steam. But I picked it up for like $8 on Steam. But it's probably, I think there's going to be a Steam sale here pretty soon. It's probably going to be like 66% off or 75% off. So keep it.
Yeah, I got it on 360.
Okay.
Now, is that new South Park game coming out? Is that an RPG as well, or are they going for a different genre on that one?
I know that the new one's called it's called like the Fractured Butthole. So, but it's like it's spelled the Fractured, the Fractured, then BUT. Butthole. So it sounds like the Fractured Butthole at the end of the day. But it's one of I think that they're trying to go with, because I saw like the EA thing. They were trying to do this thing where it looked like, oh, I guess we're doing superheroes now. So I think it's maybe trying to do sort of like, I don't know if it's an action, if it's still RPG, but it looks like they're going like kind of an Arkham theme kind of thing, like Batman Arkham.
Yeah, because I know it's got a different theme, but I wondered if it was going to play the same way. Which, if it played the same way, I kind of would hope it would, because they dialed in the RPG so perfect in it. Mm-hmm. And what I like about it is it has the cool like Mario RPG thing, where not very many games do it though, but like where it kind of says like, hey, okay, you can just have your characters attack and use magic, or we can add a little bit more action to it. So when somebody attacks you, if you press B at the right time, you block, and you can minus off a couple points.
I like that. Yeah.
If you go to attack somebody and you press A at the right time, you do a little bit extra damage. And I think that stuff like that's kind of cool, and they really use that to the extreme on South Park, which is great.
Yeah, South Park's great. But I've also been playing. Have you picked up Rocket League since you have a PS4, Spence? Have you?
I played a little bit of that at I think RJ's house or something, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, you got to get this." And to me, it was like it reminded me of a game that was fun for like 10 minutes, but I don't see why everybody's so obsessed with that game. I just don't. I didn't find it that much fun. I was just like, it's soccer with little cars.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm totally hooked on it. Just
see, everybody seems to be hooked on. I'm like the only person that's just kind of like, I don't know if I just saw through it, just being like, dude, you guys are playing fucking soccer with cars. You get that, right?
And I'm the only person that hasn't played it.
Groundbreaking thing.
What kind of drug is people smoking around here? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, literally. I was like, dude,
you want to play soccer
with tiny cars, and you get little boosts going on. I mean. But people, yeah, I remember like, because Cameron's like, dude, you got to get PS4 or PS Plus right now, dude. The game's fucking free. You're gonna love it. And like, I played it for 15 minutes or so. I mean, it was kind of fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun, but those are the kind of, I guess those kind of like multiplayer games like that. They're hard for me to get into. It's just like, does this car have a story?
Was his father killed and he has to get vengeance in this soccer match? No, like I will say that almost the game would sell to me better if it was like soccer, then like in big bold letters with cars, like in big bold letters. I think that would probably sell to me more.
I can't.
Well, I think too, it's like I don't really like soccer in the first place that much. Now I will say soccer video games can be kind of fun, but it's not really my favorite sport. Like maybe if there's like hockey with little cars or something, it could be cooler because that's like the better version of soccer.
Cars playing hockey.
Cars on ice. Now that just sounds like the Disney Cars on Ice. Which that would be the spinoff to Rocket League. We just have like Disney Pixar's Cars with Lightning McQueen.
I hate the idea, but it will make a lot of money, so I say we pursue it.
Yeah, well,
even though I hate it.
They already have the Back to the Future DLC where you can play as like the DeLorean. So,
of course they. Huh. Back to the Future Day, I bet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
October 2015.
But yeah, well. Yeah. That's probably a good place to leave off with. If we go any farther, we will breach the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, but
we've learned in life that it is best not to breach that.
Yeah.
But till then, check out OldManOrange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, and more. And until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And I'm Marley Silverbrand.
We'll see you guys later.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange Podcast.
Check out our website at OldManOrange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at OldManOrangePodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. If you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.